Let's talk about reparations. I'm wondering if you have given consideration to reparations. Of course, our leaders have been talking about reparations for years, but I don't think that the average African American has thought about it. We know the word reparations, we know what others are saying about it, but have you ever thought about reparations from your own perspective? Of course, we know that reparation is for the United States to make amends for the wrongs they have done with us during slavery. And it would involve giving us money or land or some other things. And I think the list goes on and on. Number one, they're supposed to give us an apology for having gone over there, gotten us, and brought us back to be slaves. We were not slaves brought from Africa. A lot of people say, oh, the slaves were brought from Africa. No, we were not slaves brought from Africa. We were free people who were brought across through that continent to the United States, and we were enslaved in the United States. We were slaved here. So a lot of people misunderstand that. They think we were already slaves over there, but no. Now, after a national apology, they're supposed to maybe give us some kind of financial payment. And I'm wondering what that would be. How much would that be? Or they could give us some extra social service benefits. And what could that be? Would that be an increase in Social Security, or would it be something else? What does that look like? Then it could be land. They could give us a piece of land. Now, how much would they give us? 20 acres and a mule. I think that's what we were promised at some point, 20 acres and a mule. 20 acres, that's a lot of land. But you know what? When you think about land, many of our fathers and grandfathers, aunts and uncles and relatives had land. They had land in the South. They had farms and they had businesses. And when they died out, the children sold that land. Or the children paid no attention to the land and let it go for taxes. And of course, you know, when you don't pay your taxes on land, somebody can come and buy it. And you get nothing from it. We did not pay attention in many cases to what we had in the family. And we had land. All right, I digress. All right, let's get back to reparations. Now, if the United States says, we're going to do reparations, we're going to give you reparations, what is that going to look like? I know that our leaders, our so-called leaders, have developed some kind of plan of their own for reparations and what that would look like. But reparations could come in so many different kinds of forms, and we need to be thinking about that. Reparations could come in the way of all of your children getting a college education. Reparations could come in the form that everybody in your family, including the children, get a certain amount of money. Reparations could come in the form of social services like we were talking about earlier. There are so many different ways that reparations can take place. But now look, let me ask you this. You know they're not going to just give us the reparations. We're going to have to prove that we are descendants of people who were brought to America and made slaves. You're going to have to prove that. And how are you going to prove it? Unless you have been working on your family tree, and unless you have been studying and getting all of that together, how are you going to prove? Well, I guess they could do DNA. I guess all of us might have to go to some location and get DNAs done, and then they could probably track it back to Africa. Now, the thing about it is, they said that it would be the enslaved. Now, in the United States, there are people from Jamaica to the Caribbean, Africans. There are all kinds of black people in the United States right now. And most of them were immigrants. They weren't born here. Their parents were not born here. They did not come here as slaves. So how are you going to tell them from the rest of us? Of course, they have papers, I guess. They have immigration papers. There are ways. Now, you see where I'm going? There's going to be a whole lot to the process. And you know how our government is with red tape. They might have to open a whole new office that specializes in this and how we can do that. But I know that someone told me, and I think this is true, in the Native American community in certain areas of the country, they have to prove that they are from a certain tribe before they can get services with that tribe or in that tribal community. They have to prove it. Now, if someone comes and offers you something tomorrow, but you have to prove that you are a descendant, how are you going to do that? Are you one of the ones who has been working on your family tree all of these years, and all you have to do is go back and pull out the book or the scrapbook or whatever you have that follows your family all the way back to slavery? And that can be done. I think we need to be positioning ourselves so that when reparation does come, it may not be in my lifetime. It may not even be in your lifetime. But we must prepare our young people so that if reparations comes, they will be able to get their just deserve. So if that means working now toward getting the information that you need as a family, you need to do it. Because I really believe that eventually we're going to get reparation. But we've been talking about reparations for years and nobody has said a thing. And the United States does give reparation to other countries. So they certainly can give reparations to African Americans. We're going to continue this fight toward reparation, but we want to be ready so that we can receive what we deserve to receive and that our children can receive what they deserve to receive. Don't sleep on this. Work toward it because reparations is eventually coming.